This is crazy, people. See, here's another one, right? Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. Can you see that? Isn't that pretty? I got it for $12.99, more than likely 30% off. Right, so less than $10. Right. I buy it for these things. These rhinestones, because again, not everything you can find in the dollar store, because not everything comes from China. These things come from India. This is different. And yes, you have to pick everything out to get to what you want. Depending on what it is, you know, I may just cut, trim, but in this case, I think this one here will be, everything will be picked out eventually and go into its own little bottles. Alright, there's trim on the bottom of the pants. I don't necessarily want the fabric. Right, I might salvage the elastic. But how do you get your kids to value what you value? Because normally when people die, right, first thing they do, family members, is they go looking for the money. If they're not looking for life insurance, they're looking underneath the bed. And for a lot of people, what they do is they just have somebody come in and pack the shit up and gone. And they sell off the house. Well, I don't have any houses to sell. Right? I have this kind of stuff. Right? I have a small life insurance policy, but it's only enough just to pay off the bills. That's it. Ain't no spending money after that. My dad doesn't have a life insurance policy, so when he dies, I get stuck with all the bills. Because when he came and moved in with me, his wife had already bankrupted him. So he was bankrupt. And that's why all the debt went to me. Because he couldn't accumulate debt. Because, like I said, his wife had already bankrupted him. In essence, she actually bankrupted herself 5 times. She bankrupted. When she died, she was bankrupting. It was no big deal for her, right? But, you know, I have sewing stuff that I've had around for like 30 years. Like when I was pregnant with my first child, who is 30 now, I was working on a quilt by hand. And I still have those pieces put together. They're just in a suitcase tucked away. I never did finish the quilt. And then if I think about it, I probably have another quilt that I started when I was about 18. Because my mom gave me this sewing machine, and I didn't like sewing in those days. But anyway, I was with a boyfriend in those days, right? And we were in this house, and I attempted to try and put together this quilt. Should be interesting to see if I come across it one day once I get back into my bins. If I do, I'll show it to you. It's just little squares. Right? Am I smelling something burning in the kitchen? No? Are you sure? Maybe that's downstairs. Maybe somebody's cooking downstairs. Somebody's cooking downstairs. Just making more dishes, right? It's not fair, man. Yeah. So anyway, you know, that's what they see. Well, that's just a dollar store bag. You can get that at the dollar store. Yeah, I suppose something similar, you can. And that's not to say I don't buy stuff from the dollar store, because I do. And then I like to take that stuff and I put it in little jars. Hold on. And then my oldest daughter would come along, steal it. So I'm replacing. But she's not in the house anymore, right? So I shouldn't have that problem. But, you know, I'm just wondering, like, what they're going to do, my kids, when I'm gone. And they go to the stuff that I've been collecting for 40 years. Because this started a long time ago. And I hope they don't just see it as, well, it's just mom hoarding dollar store sequins. Because it's a little more complicated than that. Right? And I sit here and that's why in my last video there that I uploaded, my eyes are all buggy, right? Because I've been doing this, right? 3-4 hours straight at a time. Lately I've been doing it like at 4 in the morning, 2, 3, 4 in the morning when Andre's sleeping. I have a nap around, well, because I work so hard and I work all day long. And I work at night too. You know, my sleeping schedule is way off. But, you know, depends. Like last night I just went to bed early, so I got up early. I have to be careful how I go to sleep, because if I go to sleep too early, I'll wake up too early. And I'll be running around at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's better to be running around at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to sleep at 4:35 than get up at 4. So, ever since I moved into this house, people, my life has just been, like, messed up. Serious. Too much yard work. Too much yard work. I panic just thinking about spring and summer and fall. I don't have enough money to pay people to work the yard for me. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. All I know is that since I've been in this house, I've been getting sick. Sicker from the workload. And I'm not doing the things like this like I used to do. And I know it seems insignificant. Hold on a minute, I'm doing a video. I know it seems insignificant in the great grand scheme of things when it comes down to a capitalistic society and everybody's got to get paid, you know, one way or another, right? And it's all about, you know, the quantity and not the quality, right?
Sorry, but do you have Clayton's number?
No.
Phone number? Like the house number?
No, he doesn't have a phone. Is he not back with that dog yet?
No.
I don't know what to say.
And he asked to borrow $10 from me, so I borrowed him $10 too.
I'll leave the $10 and he'll put the dog away when he comes back. Anyway, people.
If he comes back?
Well, he didn't run away with the dogs, mate. He did not run away with the dog. No, I don't. I don't know his apartment.
Can I have one, please?
No.
Just one.
No. Okay, people. You want to turn that off for me? Okay. Anyway, she's gone now, right? So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here in the future. I told my dad, if this, you know, this eye doctor, I already told him, I said, you're like a Dr. Mr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. Like, seriously, people, he tried to blame me for not seeing him, saying the family doctor would give me a referral to him, and that's not the case. I went to my family doctor. I asked for a referral because I couldn't go see the optometrist because I didn't qualify under the BC Liberal government healthcare system. I had to wait for a number of years before I could qualify for that. And when I went to the family doctor, he said, no, that's not his job. That's what an optometrist is for. So I pleaded and I begged with him to give me this eye drop because the doctor said I was supposed to use it, otherwise I'm going to go blind. So basically what happened is I used this eye drop for a year until I could qualify to get another referral to go see the eye specialist. So by the time I go see the eye specialist, because they booked an appointment, but nobody told me that the appointment was booked, so when the appointment came, I missed it. Of course, I didn't know. So then it came another appointment, so, you know, more months go by, and I'm still using this eye drop, right? Because I don't want to go blind. So anyway, I get to the doctor, eye doctor, the specialist, and he's telling me that the shit doesn't work. Because when I go for the optometrist to do my every 3-year update or whatever it is, to get that referral to go back to the eye specialist, you know, they're like, you need to be in emergency. And I'm like, for what? Well, your eyes, too much pressure, you're gonna, you know, they're gonna pop, right? And I'm like, whatever. So, Now I'm seeing the eye specialist. You know, my glasses broke when I seen the optometrist, and because they don't have the same, what's it called, rim, they can't repair it. So I'm running around back again with these dollar store, like, this is blurry for me. I can see the screen, but I can't see me. It's blurry. So he grabs my glasses and he smacks them down on the table. I'm like, hey buddy, you know, it's not like I didn't phone up your office and ask to come and see you, but you're the one, your receptionist is the one that said I didn't qualify. I had to get another referral. So don't get mad at me for not showing up for over a year, using an eye drop that you told me was working and that I should continue using, that a clinic doctor re-prescribed because there was nobody else to do it. Well, that's a crime. That's a crime. You're not supposed to be getting that prescription written. That's illegal. That's illegal. And I'm saying, oh, well, you weren't there to fill it. You didn't want to see me. He doesn't want to hear that, though, right? Well, you were told wrong. The doctor, the family doctor can refer you to me. You were told wrong. Yeah, I'm sure I was. So in the meantime, people, basically what happened was apparently I was using some medication that's been making me feel like fucking crap ever since I started it. And I told him, I said, this stuff that you're giving me ain't working. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then all that stuff that happened with my daughter, I missed an appointment. And when I phoned back to make another appointment, they said I couldn't come. I had to get another referral. So in the meantime, he's telling me that stuff was working. So I managed to go to a clinic to get some, regular just family doctor to prescribe me what was working. I'm talking what was working, right? To use it for over a year to find out that it's not working. While I'm arguing with my 19-year-old, pleading with her to go get this. Now I have to do 3 drops 2 times a day from 3 different bottles. Because if that doesn't work, now we're looking at going to go see the glaucoma specialist. Right? Because the pressure is still off the wall. So who knows? And I said to my dad, at the rate things are going, I might as well just go back and do what I like to do before I really go blind. Because first of all, the healthcare system that we got out here is it's pathetic. I'm telling you. It's pathetic because I told this eye doctor, you don't think that this stuff here, this tooth situation that's been like festering for the last 4 or 5 years now because, don't qualify for anything, right? It's got to be all time limit and max out at $1,000 within a, 2-year period. And so nobody wants to touch you. That's basically what it is. And I'm saying, well, pull the fucking teeth. They're saying, well, no, you got good teeth. Why do you want to pull the teeth? We've seen people with no teeth. Try and save the tooth that you have. But yet they're not doing anything with it. And I said to the eye doctor, the specialist, I said, well, you don't think that this chronic pain that I have in the side of my mouth with the gum receding and the tooth bone loss and all this other shit that's going on because the nerve is dying. That's what's happening. Because what happened was when I was 16 years old, I fell off my grandmother's rail because she told me to go hang up some clothes. I couldn't reach it. She said, well, go try again. So I climbed on top of the rail and the rail broke and I fell down like 6 feet, smacked my face onto the cement and busted up my teeth. That's why my teeth are crooked. So I got a dead tooth here and a dead tooth there. Well, in those days, they just pushed it back, put a splint on it, and then after that, they turned around and did 2 root canals. So I already have 2 root canals. But 4 years ago, this other dentist that was, doing teeth for my kids, and my kids were complaining, and I'm like, well, no, and I go, and and I give her a chance, and sure enough, within 3 months of doing the tooth, it started the same pain all over again, and it's been going like that for almost 4 years, only it's getting worse. And I said that to my eye doctor. You can't tell me that this isn't affecting my eyes. Same thing with the ringing in my ears. He goes, no, well, if you get your tooth fixed, then you'll just feel better, that's all, but it has nothing to do with your eyes. Nothing to do with your eyes. Anyway, people, I don't know. Are my kids going to value this stuff? I do. I'll even go on the floor after the fact and find the little ones that fly around and pick them up and then add them to the rest before I'll come and vacuum them up. Because, personally, I think for us poor people, we're going into a depression. We've been in a depression for a long freaking time. I've been living in poverty for a long time, people, and I'm so tired of it. Being milked by the credit card industry and being tweaked by legislative assemblies with their politics to keep the poorest poor. Right? You can work your life to death and you'll still be poor. So that one little sequence down there with the rest of them might be that one that makes a difference. Seriously. My kids, they don't understand that. They don't have no appreciation because they can go to the dollar store and buy a whole bag like that of, green ones for $2. Even though it's called a dollar store. Because China is mass producing. Right? So, I don't know how long my eyesight's going to be good for. All I know is that whatever this doctor's been doing, and I already called him on it. I said, you're like a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. Well, maybe he's the Jekyll, and maybe he's going to send me now to the Mr. Hyde who's going to operate on my eyes pretty soon. Because they can't fucking figure it out. How can a human being walk around with high pressure year after year after year after year and don't think it doesn't affect me? Because it does. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse because the chronic pain that's in my mouth here that's just pushing that pain, the nerve that's making the ringing go, go, go. It's screaming all the time, screaming in my head. From my ears, right? Because of the pain. And let me tell you something. $1,000 little welfare check doesn't take you very far in life. Yeah. And my dad's pension, most of his pension goes to rent and hydro and gas. Sucks up his whole fucking pension. For the most part. And then what's left over goes on to 2 major visas. And that's $700 a month. And they take over $500 a month in interest. You do the math. So, quality of life. What's important? What's important? When you're losing your eyesight and you're being dickered around, left, right, and center, with people that get paid to do a job but don't want to do their job, and then when they get caught on not doing their fucking job, they want to sit up there and, oh, well, it's your fault because you didn't go see your family doctor. Who is this doctor? Why is he prescribing you that prescription? That's illegal. Well, I don't know. Why did you turn me away when I called you back and said, well, gee, my grandson was taken away from foster, put in foster care. My daughter kicked out of the house. Everything going fucking crazy. I'm sorry I missed your appointment. Can I make a new one? Well, no. No, you can't. You have to get another referral. Phone up the freaking optometrist. Well, you don't qualify right now. You have to wait for 2014. That's a year and a half from now before we can give you a referral. Right? But you need that drop because the last time you talked to the specialist, he said it was working, so keep using it. So you run off to your local clinic and you cry a river to some doctor saying, look, I need this prescription. Can you give me a referral to the specialist? No, I can't. Well, can you at least give me the prescription? Yes, I can. And then you go back to the freaking specialist and he tells you, well, that was a crime? Like, come on. So I don't care what people think. You think whatever you want. No. I can still see this right now, even with dollar store glasses. It makes my eyes all buggy if I do it for 4 hours straight, and then I do it multiple days in a row. But how do you think this foundation was written up? Where do you think it started from? It started from this. Because I used to sit back in the day when I was grateful to be living in Canada before all this stuff happened, and I'm trying to get that back. But it's hard when you're dealing with capitalistic freaking governments that don't care about anything except fracking the mountain and running their pipelines, because they sure in the hell don't care about the people. I can tell you that right now. Where all this money that they're making, where is it going? I don't know, because it's not going to the people. It's really not. And if it is, it's going for all the wrong reasons, right? And yeah, I don't know. I was saying something there. Oh yeah. So back in those days in 98, 97, 96, 95, 99, 2001, 2, 3. Even when they kicked me out of my freaking house by cutting me off fucking welfare with my 5 kids, all in school or going into school, right? With their corrupt legislation that they turn around and they covered it up after the fact, right? Because people started suing. Only I didn't have the resources to even threaten that concept. It was already too late for my family. But yeah, where do you think the basis of the foundation came from? On days like this, when I would sit at night, my children were sleeping, my house was clean because I wasn't so stressed out with a fucking yard that took up all my life, all my time, you know? Because this house has really been hard to live in, people. Extremely hard. And it ain't over yet. And I used to sit, and I used to think, and I was grateful. I was proud of the union, because BC was a strong union province in those days. And they had a purpose, right? And they had morals. They had ethics, or at least I thought they did. And all I did was shoot myself in the foot. In the end, I just shot myself in the fucking foot. All I did was go in the hole, go blind, get stressed out, be abused. But there's still hope and there's still opportunity. So I'm trying to get in touch with that again. I'm trying to get back to where it all started. Okay? All those words, when you come across them, where did they come from? Huh? Well, they came from the mind. But what was the mind doing when I sat down and I wrote what I wrote? Or even what I'm going to write, if I continue to write something, because I do have to write something. I'm just tired. So, before I can write, I need to get back to that state. This is what I'm trying to do, people. I'm trying to get back to that state. You know, the quality of life. Right? Because it's not all about money. It's not all about ego. It's not all about fame. You know. It's about sharing the wealth so that we can all live a peaceful life and be productive. And that's what this is about. Peaceful, productive life on a one sequence at a time. Anyway, that's enough of this. I'm going to upload this just as is. And I'm going to put this up on my little Peeps fashion page. And get myself all geared up and get ready, right? But before I can do that, I got to get back up and finish that drum bag. And then I think maybe we might start seeing some action. All right. Okay, members and friends. This is stuff that I used to do quite a bit when I was younger. You know, I had my kids, right? So I stayed home a lot looking after them. And in the evening, you know, because I'm a costume maker, right? So what would happen is I'd buy this fabric, you can see, normally for these things. Because you don't find these things in the store. You have to find them on the fabric and then pick them out and put them in a jar and save them for a day when you need them. And oftentimes they come in with this stuff. They're in between it, right? The only thing is, this stuff is all sewn on by hand. This is a piece of fabric from India. Because women, they sit around the table on the floor with this thing stretched out like if it was on like making a quilt. And they sew it all on by hand. So you have to pick it out. It takes actually quite a long time to do it. I was having a little conversation with my son. You know, for the amount of time that it takes to pick this stuff out. You know, 30 hours later. I'm even saving the thread a little bit here, because you can use that for craft, glue it on something. You know, a picture with shells or something. As you can see, it's a fair amount. Because it was a skirt. This is the top. And I said to my dad, you know, it's been so long since I've been sewing. I gotta just get back in it before I go blind here. So that's what I'm kind of doing in between my heavy workload in a day. You know, I sit and think. Now, when my daughter was with me for that year, while Andre was in foster care, she got into my cupboard up in there 2 times. Once from the front, and when I locked up the front, she took out the back and she went into the back. And she stole a lot of stuff from me. So I lost a lot of these things. I don't know if I have these ones anymore because they may be gone. But then I put some more stuff in there and I locked it up again, so I'm not sure. And then prior to that, I had my middle daughter's friend stay with me. And she wiped me out of about $3,000 worth of sequins and beads, and it's a couple $1,000s worth anyway. So, quality of life. To me, this is the quality of life because, first of all, you can't find these colors even if you wanted to. Well, you can find the pink, but you're not going to find the teal. Probably not. And I don't know what I paid for the outfit. I can't remember. Even if it was $10 on sale, you know, for me to pick it all out, get my little bag of sequins on, put it away, never know, might need it one day. Oh yeah, I want to try and teach my girls here how to sew. I know my younger son wants to sew. I know my stepson wants to sew. So I'm going to set up that sewing room downstairs, and this is my upstairs sewing room. There's our drum bag, people. There's my sewing table, people. As soon as I'm done this, I got a few more in there, you can see. But I'm going to start clearing off my table and start finishing up on that drum bag. Upload that onto the Peeps Fashion. Continue working on what I'm doing downstairs, you know, try and get these kids sewing a little bit for themselves, maybe. But this is just a reminder that when I pass, who knows when that will be. Could be 20 years from now. And then my kids, they go into my stuff. There's some things they just can't have access to, right? And seriously, I have to lock it up. And when they come across this stuff, I want them to remember what it took to get it. And how many hours. Because not everything is about money. Right? I could easily throw that out for what it's worth in terms of money. Hours and hours and hours and hours to pick that out because it's one piece at a time, people. Right? They need to value. They need to learn to value things. That's what they ought to do. If they can learn to value this, not throw it out after I'm gone, then I would say they're on the right track in life. And, yeah, I also wanted to say that when my oldest daughter was taking this stuff, like, she knew I'd sit here and take the time to pick it out, sort it out. I'd like to have my colors with colors, as you can see. I have a little bit of OCD. But as for these ones here, it's not that important, right? They're kind of coming off this. The reason I've got them separated like that is because that's after I do that, then I come in and I even go for these little blue things. You can see what's left behind here. Oops, sorry. You can see these little things. These are like little metal things. So I'll probably save those. See if you can see here. I'll probably save those and maybe use them for earrings or something. I don't know. Why throw it out? But my oldest daughter, she knew I did this stuff. And it's not my fault she didn't have the patience to sit there and do it for herself. So when she took this stuff, it would steal from me. And she stole a lot, people. Right? Because of whatever reason. And then she'd give it to, you know, she'd sell it or she'd give it away. I think oftentimes she just gave it away to her friends that were struggling with addiction and needed something to do to take their mind off of their troubles. That she didn't value the effort that it took to pick out each one to even be able to take it to give it away to somebody else. Because whoever got my stuff, if they only knew what it took to get some of this stuff, right? You know, people forget, right? They forget what, life, right? The quality of life. There it is, right there. That's quality. That's not quantity, people, but that's quality. So when I go, I want my kids to remember that not everything is about quantity. Oftentimes, it's just simply quality. Whoa. That didn't work, people. Trying something here. Hopefully the camera won't fall off the counter there. As you can see, this is how you do it. I showed my son these bags and he says, "Ooh, dollar store, dollar store bag, dollar store bag." And I'm like, yeah, but you're not going to find the teal colors. Right? And not everything is made in China. Why does it all have to come from China? These ones came from India. Right? So you just sit there and you just pick these things out like this. Let it fall onto the... Just kind of go like that. I don't know if you can see that. I got my heat on. My vents need to be cleaned. I've been in this house too many years and that ain't getting done either, people. So I don't know. But anyway, this really makes my eyes buggy. After a while, I've been doing this for about 4 days straight now. Off and on, minus yesterday. So you can see what I'm doing.